Just a heads up, this episode has some strong language that may not be suitable for children. You've been warned. Enjoy the show. You're listening to the New York Said podcast.
Fear not, my friends. This will be my greatest performance.
Give it to me.
Here we go. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
What's up, good people? Welcome to the New York Said podcast. I am your host, Amon Focus, and today's guest on the show is the talented conceptual artist, Cj Hendry. I don't know if I'd call this episode an interview. It feels like a reunion between two long-lost friends who just met 10 minutes ago. A few days ago, after the interview, I had the opportunity to attend a preview of Cj's latest exhibition, Plaid, which was this nostalgic, playful, immersive experience showcasing her latest work. It was immersive because I got to explore and play in this 5,000 square foot labyrinth of an adult playground, Plaidground, designed to mimic the plaid pattern featured in her latest work. It was extremely colorful. There was a ball pit, there was slides, a trampoline, and even those old school swings made of wood that back in my day were made of metal, but that was in the 80s. It was a different time. Did I feel like a kid again? Hell yeah. Did my sore body remind me that I'm 45 years old the next morning? You betcha. But was it all worth it? Absolutely. If you're in the tri-state area, I highly recommend you check it out. Plaid will run from April 17th to April 23rd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's 2023, just in case you're listening to this episode 5 years from now. For more info and to check out photos of CJ's art and the Plaid exhibition, visit newyorksaid.com. All right, and lastly, Cj and I recorded this episode at her studio on a cold Monday morning in Brooklyn. So whenever the audio sounds a little noisy, that is this big industrial heating system warming up her massive studio. I removed as much of the noise as I possibly could, but it's a factory in Brooklyn. What do you expect? Thank you for your unwavering support. Rate the show on Apple Podcasts. I love y'all. Peace.
Where did you travel from?
I traveled from Bay Ridge.
Okay, that's
So-
all right.
Yeah.
The G's a bit of a bitch to get on.
It is.
Yeah,
The G
yeah,
is
yeah.
like I used to live in Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, and my stop was Clinton and Washington.
Okay.
And so the G train, I always liken it to like
It's
the ice cream man. Like I'm either gonna catch it.
You're not.
That's it. Like I'm either running for it or I'm waiting on it forever.
That's a great way to explain
Yeah.
it. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I grew up in Queens,
Yeah.
and similar to your story, I was like, okay, what else?
What? Yeah.
Like what else is this?
Yeah.
Because it was just the same old, and I was
Yeah.
like, if I get caught up in what my neighborhood is,
Like, how bad was it?
oh yeah, I grew
Just
up in
bad.
yeah, I grew up in South Jamaica,
Okay,
Queens in the
okay.
90s. You're seeing a
Because now,
refined.
South Jamaica's like a bit of a vibe. Like,
Yeah,
it's probably
yeah.
still a little rough. I don't know. I don't go
Yeah.
up there so often, but yeah, I can imagine however many years ago it would have been a
Oh
whole
yeah,
different.
I mean, but that's like Bushwick.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
all
yeah,
these
yeah,
places
yeah.
change. I was in last week I was in Medellin.
Yes.
And they were like telling me all these. I was like looking at the graffiti, and it was like in the 90s.
Were you there for work?
No, I was there for vacation. I was
Okay.
with my girlfriend. It was her birthday.
Wow.
And so we were like, let's go
What was that
eat.
like? Was it awesome?
It was incredible.
Was
Yeah.
it like the freaking movies? Is it as bad as the movies?
No,
Oh no, it's really
it's
nice.
like New York. Like if
Yeah,
you're looking
okay.
for it, you'll find
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You're
of
looking for
course.
food. We were looking for food.
Yeah.
Good people and art.
That is how we do. That's
Yeah.
how we do holidays. It's like all food. People are like, "Hey, did you go and see this?" I'm like, "No," because we were at breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks.
yeah, always snacks.
100%.
And
I
so-
could live my life on a snack.
And that's all it was. Like I was.
Yeah, okay.
It has a rep, and I have a friend who was like, if you go there and you're like, all you want to do is talk about the rep,
Yeah,
it's gonna
yeah,
get
yeah.
old. But if you kind of go in as a student, then
Wow,
people
that's a
will
good
be like,
attitude,
they'll want to
yeah.
like show you around. So like he was like,
Wow.
I'll show you. I'll tell my cousin that you're coming. And so like on the very first day, he took us there. And I was like, all right, bro, we need a nap.
Yes, a nap and then snacks.
Yeah, and then snacks. Like so it was like sensory overload.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Wow.
So like my mom still lives in the same building that I
Yeah,
grew
yeah,
up
yeah.
in. So when I go back home, like on Thursday, I'm gonna do an interview with a kid from my building.
Yeah.
And now he's like this big becoming thing. He's aligned with 50 Cent and all this other stuff.
Shit.
And so he's like starting. So I'm like, I got this
Wow.
platform,
Yeah.
and it's like, not that my platform is oh so big, but
get
it's
it.
just like, why wouldn't I support you?
Yeah,
you
good
know?
for you.
And
That's
so that's
really
what my
nice.
project is
Yeah.
about. It's just like,
Yeah.
imagine having,
Wow.
his name is Jaffe, so
Yeah.
Jaffe, Cj Hendry, the person that's selling art in the
Yeah,
subway,
yeah. It's
Jerry
all-
Saltz,
it's all
like
the
it's
same.
all these.
Yeah.
We're all part of this fabric.
We're all in New York. Like it's
That's
about.
it.
So I was just in Sydney last week just for a visa run, and Sydney's like nice. I don't know if you've ever been to Australia.
Not
Okay,
yet. It's on the list.
Like that's your next trip.
Yes.
It's just a vibe, and it's just it's lovely. But yeah, I don't know. New York's. I thought for a minute I was getting homesick. I was like, I think we need to go home. We need to wrap it up and go. No.
No?
Hell no. New York's everything.
Because
it's really
I was
nice.
listening to your interview with it was called Fade to Launch, and it was like you were talking to your friend, so it was really like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
as like
But I'm not going to lie, even in normal interviews, that's how I am.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
I fucking hate when I listen to podcasts or something and everyone just seems like a different someone and then they talk to their friend and it's different.
Yep.
And I'm like, why does it need to be like
Yeah.
that? So I won't jump on a podcast unless I know
no, yeah,
the
that's
vibe
how
of it
this
already, you know?
that's how this is. I want
Yeah,
it to
I
just
want
be
it-
uncut, and then
Yeah.
sometimes like because of that, people might go too far, and I'm like, I'm gonna cut that one section out where
but
you were.
whenever I do an interview, I'm like, cut nothing out.
Okay.
Nothing. I'm
Really?
like, whatever you want to put it in. Because I'm like, I'm not out here, I haven't killed anyone yet.
Right,
you know
right,
what I
right.
mean?
You
So it's like
said yet.
nothing's, not yet. Do you know what I mean? So it's
I
like,
do.
nothing's that bad. I'm just out here making art,
Right,
like
right.
cute, pretty shit. So it's like, if
Yeah.
you want to put it in, if you don't, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not a
No,
big deal.
the funny thing is,
Yeah.
you did that one interview. It was very formal, and you had on like a black jacket with a white tee, and this like very prestigious woman. It was out in Australia. You were on a stage. It was like maybe a year and a half ago, but it was very formal.
Right.
And then at the beginning of it, it's like, we're not responsible for the language that's said in it.
The language warning comes up all the time. And do you know what, right? So this is what my parents just can't stand about my sister and I. So it's just my sister and I. My mum's very proper
Yep.
South African family. She's very, she's a boomer, so she's like that generation. But she's still very proper, do the right thing, say the right thing. Yes, sir,
Yes.
no, sir, 3 bags full, sir.
Was it like forks at the table, like all that?
100%.
Yeah,
Eat with your
okay.
mouth, finish your plate. Thank you.
Yes.
When you answer the phone, hello, Catherine Hendry speaking.
Wow.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that's how that generation really wanted us to be. But anyway, Mum always makes a joke. She got her 2 girls, but secretly my dad got his boys.
Yep.
Because we've been born female, obviously, and I'm whatever, married to a dude. But in our head, I'm just like, I'm just awful.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not
Is that
what
how you
you
got
would think.
into like sneaker culture and all that? Because you just
That's from my husband.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's like really into that. I'm not as into sneaker culture as maybe he is.
Did you see Just for Kicks? Maybe he
No.
has the DVD.
Probably.
It's like the OG, basically sneakerhead documentary. It's called Just for Kicks.
Is this on like a Netflix or something?
I never see it streaming.
Oh.
I would say this. Over the last few years, I've realized like the things that I thought were cool begin to disappear. So what I've been doing is just like getting it, smashing it, grabbing it. And I was talking to my friend
Yeah.
Kashai, he lives in St. Thomas.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm making a hard drive
Yeah.
of all the things because it disappears. So like whatever
Good
that
for
cool
you.
podcast was that you're like, I love this shit.
Yeah.
They may be over it and they're not gonna pay the $5 a month to keep it alive.
Oh.
And so it's all gone. Because usually a podcast is sitting on
Yes, and you
and-
some air drive. Or
yeah, and
in
then when
the
they're done
cloud.
with it, if you didn't download all 100 episodes, it's a wrap. So it's the same thing with videos. It's the same thing with
Oh,
films.
that's so interesting. Yeah. Wow.
After a while, like we think that it's gonna be there forever.
It's never going to be, yeah. But also, it's not everyone wants to go back and relive the memories. Like, shit moves so fast now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is
But
what it is.
do you feel that way where people are like, I want the old CJ, as like Kanye would say, like I
my
want the old
God.
Kanye. People go, remember when you were doing all the black and white stuff? Can you
No,
do
not
that?
really. I think
Okay.
some people really like the black and white, but because I'm never that polarizing. I'm not Kanye level polarizing.
Okay, gotcha.
I still love Kanye's
Same.
art. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Good. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think because I'm doing such more. I don't know if the word is interactive, but I think my art is not as black and white. When I say black and white, before it was just drawing, and
Yep.
that's all I used to do. And now I'm doing a lot of other stuff. Conceptually, it's a lot bigger. So I think it's more interesting for people. But fuck it. Even if they do want old stuff, I'm just doing.
Have you ever like gone back to the black and white stuff?
Yeah, I did a series in black and white last year, and honestly, it wasn't as exciting.
Okay.
Colors really great. Like also I'm not someone who even designs in color. Like my home is like
Monochrome, like
100%,
black and white?
not even black. It's all greige.
Oh.
All greige. We've just renovated a house down the road.
Okay.
So it's all done. It's stunning, but it's all greige and there's no color. So I love working.
I guess it is.
I can't explain
Everything's intentional.
So my husband has a business that's also in art, and it's very colorful, very intense. This is also very colorful. Sometimes I just want to go home and calm.
Yeah, go to the neutral place.
Yeah. My husband and I, we moved over from Australia, not married, just dating. Mm-hmm. And we've built 2 incredible businesses together. We've got 2 kids.
Yep.
We've got a home down the road which we've renovated. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a need to just like, I don't know, just do one thing. Like my life just revolves, I'm just at work and at home with the kids. It's a very like
stringent,
clean, very structured, like I don't do anything else.
So you don't like go to openings and you know what?
Never, I've never. I'm not
going to say the name, but I went to an opening.
Yeah.
I got invited. And then.
So how often do you go to openings?
It just depends.
It depends on when. It's like a hot opening season, or is it like multiple a week?
It was
or
like no, I don't do multiple a week. I get invited to a lot of things because the project has such a long tail that I've spoken to so many people. So like you get stuff, but like this one I was like, all right, I'm going to go. And it was like a really cool thing where it was just like it's like CNB scene and like the free beer and the DJ. And then I was just sitting around and I was like, I got actual work to do. Like I don't even need to be seen on this scene. And it's cool. I love it and I'm grateful for the invite, but it was like, I got some shit I got to be actually doing.
Maybe that's also the stage you're at. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, but so I guess I've always been at that stage. I've never, like we have the joke here and it's like if you see CJ at the club, you know something's wrong. Like something's really wrong. I'm like,
when's the last time you've been to the club?
Ooh, yuck. Like I don't know because it's not me. It's like, no, nothing about going out and socialize. Like, because I'm like you, an introvert who'll play an extrovert really well, but I'm like, deep down, I'm like, I've got shit to do. This is a waste of my time. Also, at the end of the day, when you're at the party, people don't actually know you're at the party.
Right.
Kind of, maybe you can go for like a minute and just show face and then bounce.
Right. I'm king of what they call the Irish goodbye.
There you go.
I don't.
You smoke bomb. In Australia, we call that a smoke bomb.
I'm sorry using that.
Yes. Smoke bomb.
Even if it's like a friend's small gathering at their 100%.
House. Just eyeball it.
Let me just go get some milk. I'll be right back. And then my friend's like, you went home, didn't you? I'm like, yeah.
Well, you don't even say milk. Just like, I'm just a bit drunk. I'm a bit tired. Bongo. People don't remember. They don't care. You don't need to be the last one at the party. But I don't even go to the party.
Right.
So it's like, it's not even me trying to be it, but it's that exclusivity of just like, I'm never there.
Yeah.
And no one even thinks to, because I'm like, just people know I've got other shit on. Even before kids, it's like we worked like fucking animals.
Right.
Animals, 120 plus.
A week?
Years.
Okay.
7 days a week for years. Years and years and years to like be in the position I'm in now.
Is that like,
in the studio time.
What I'm asking, is that a cultural thing? Like, is that from your mother and father? Or is that you were born with that? Where it's like, man, she's playing with her toys 40 hours a week. Like, were you always...
I think I was always a bit that way. Like, I've always been a bit intense, like a bit strange like that. When I was younger, I was like relatively good at swimming, but like mum and dad just put me in a pool and I was like, I quite like this. Then started to get good and then got to the stage at like early teens. I was like representing Australia, but that didn't happen by accident. Like I just trained. I'm like that very tunnel vision, very focused, like very...
So were there things that you learned from the tunnel vision of trying out for the Olympics that basically parlayed into what present day is?
I don't think it's anything you learn. I just think it's like the type of person you are. Do you know what I mean? It's like I am just intense. I am just focused. Like if you give me a task, like say you're like, learn SketchUp and design the Sydney Opera House in a week. Done. Yeah. I'll figure it out.
But if they said you have 6 months, would you have to do it in a week or do it in 6 months?
I'm all or nothing. So it'll be done in a week.
Okay.
I'm like, so I'll sit down and figure it out and it'll consume me until it's done and then I'm like, see you, bye. So it's like, that's just me.
So do you ever like revel in what you accomplished or you're like, it's done, moving on?
100%. Boom, boom, done.
Yeah.
But like, so I don't really celebrate the highs and I don't really commiserate the lows. And I feel like when you run, because at the end of the day, this is an art practice. I don't know like how many artists talk about the business side of it, or do they all just talk about the art? Or it's a bit of a mix?
It depends on who I'm talking to. Sometimes it's like, this is what I always, this is my goal, to have like a regular conversation and wherever it goes. But some people are super media trained and they're going to give me the same exact thing that they give everybody. And that's fine.
Okay,
I'm not,
cute.
you know, and sometimes I can like circumvent
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
like
Yeah.
do a lot of due
Yeah,
diligence.
good on you.
But
Yeah, I feel like you're a prepared person. No, but I just like the art is one thing. I can talk about the art and use all big words. And I'm
yeah,
not
but
that
the business
smart.
side of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the quote that when I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fun conversation.
go.
And that on that formal interview, in the middle of
Yes.
it, like 15 minutes,
Yeah.
you go, drawing is easy. Everything else is fucking hard.
Yes.
That quote,
Yeah.
I wrote that in there and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to start the interview off with
Yes.
that. But we just did what we did.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
can you break it down the business from that part where like people know the drawing and they know the process,
Yeah.
but like they just think that that's all you do when you have all these other.
But do you know what? I actually think this is true for every single artist on the planet.
Okay.
Not just me. It's like their craft is easy. Like it just somehow it just comes to them. For me, drawing hyperrealistic just comes to me. For other people who do more of like a conceptual whatever, it just comes to them. It's their thing that they can do. I can't do that like messy shit. So it's like that is easy. But then there's everything else. It's like, cool. But then how do you make money to continue to do this so I don't need to go and find a full-time job? So,
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? So it's like,
Yep.
so it's like the money side no one wants to talk about. So you've got to make enough money to pay for the number, like it to work. Then if you want to grow, to pay people to help you grow. You know, so it's like
Yep.
the team is 15.
You got 15 people on your team now?
100%. 15. So it's like, that's like a semi-operation. I'm like, I didn't get into this for that. I'm just going to draw. So 10 years ago when I started, it was like, I'm just going to draw. And now my job is different. I manage people and things and I still have to create and think and be creative, but there's 100 other things to do. So my job descriptions change without me even wanting that.
Just from the growth alone.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm very grateful because I'm focused and this is what I want. But yeah, sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for. It's like, yeah, you want to be big and do all these things, but then you're like, oh,
there's a
whole lot of other things that have
Yeah.
to happen to be in that position.
So
And
at
that's
what point?
fascinating.
Oh,
Yeah.
at what point did you let go and go?
Fuck.
I can't do this alone. I need at least one other person, and then two,
Okay,
three.
so it happened before. So like it happened years ago. So Elsa's been on the team probably for the last 5 years, but it really hit home when I had my first kid. So I've got 2 kids right now, 2 and 1. So we're still in the bullshit age.
Right.
It's bullshit age.
This shit like they didn't tell me about this. All I saw was the cherry pick moments on Instagram. Like, what is this? Did you just shit on the floor?
No.
Like that?
I tell everyone when people are like, "Oh my god, kids!" I'm like, "It's fucking hard."
It is.
So I'm like, I don't like to cherry pick it because that's not fair to people who are going to
What's
have
something
kids.
that just we can go on tangents. What's
Yeah.
something that surprised you? Like, wait, kids do that? I didn't know I had to worry about that. Or
No,
all of it.
all the weird shit like pooing in the bath. That's
Okay.
normal. Or
Yeah.
like eating their poo. That's normal.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know that was normal. I don't have
know
kids.
if it's normal, but I've
Okay,
heard it. Anyway,
yeah.
Just weird shit. It's just like you just are. It's constantly work.
And
It
they're
is
two.
work.
One of them is
we got
two.
two. One
One
is
and
2
two.
and one is 1.
So terrible twos, is that a real thing?
He's just always been more challenging.
Okay.
The older one's always been more challenging. The girl, she's more chill. So it's like we've got 2 different kids.
Yeah.
Kids are just a lot of work. So it's like you think like, oh yeah, kids, you can just do things. Like just go to the shops and they can just come. No, you can't do the things you want to do. Anyway, so my life is constant work from 5 a.m. to when we go to bed at like 10.
Okay.
Working. So whether I'm at work or with the kids, it's work. Anyway, no one tells you that. It's work.
But
Yeah.
do you have to, my question is,
Yeah.
how much sleep do you actually get?
Still normal amounts. So okay, when did it click that this is I need the support? When I had a kid, I was like trying to do mum stuff and then trying to work, and it gets really overwhelming really quickly. And I was like, no, I'm not happy. This ain't right. And so I'm like, all right, I need the help of nannies. We have nannies.
Okay, double.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wasn't brought up to be a nanny person. I was like, no, we'll figure it out. No,
Right.
nannies is the only way I can be sane and
Yeah.
work. Nannies, I've got great support here. I now rely on people to just do their job well. You don't micromanage.
Right.
I don't micromanage. I'm like, this is what needs to be done. Figure it out.
You just let people do what they do.
100%. And then
Yeah.
they're like, hey, how would I do this? I'm like, just so you know, I'm not even as smart as you. So like, I'm not
Wow.
going to have the answer for you. Just figure it out and
Okay.
come back. We can brainstorm, but I don't know much of anything. Like, I'm not a particularly smart person.
But if people make a mistake, what happens? Is it something that you just kind of...
Mistakes happen.
Okay.
Mistakes happen. But like when it's things that you shouldn't be making mistakes, but you kind of get pretty good at just like shit happens. It's just about problem solving. So like I never hold, well, I'm getting to a stage, you don't hold anyone to be like perfection. So
Okay.
that's not real.
But as far as like personality and how you choose people outside of what they do, because I mean, even though it's a team of 15, it still there's a culture to it.
Do you know what it is? I don't hire off a resume. If people come in resume forward, I'm like, you're not gonna fit here.
Gotcha,
It's not
gotcha.
gonna work. No. I just work off vibes. So like Nick, I don't even know what degree he has, if he even has a degree. It's of no interest to me. We worked with him on a job and I was like, he's just got the right energy
Right.
you're in.
Right.
Also, I'm like, you just got the right energy, come on in. So it's like everyone we work with, it's an energy thing and you can teach them the job.
Right.
Yeah. And they've got to have a good work ethic, I guess. But I don't know. But generally, like energy, like, you know, I think people will do a good job if you give them trust and you're just like, I like having you around.
I had a manager that didn't understand that once years ago. I was an animator. And he would, if he stood
Was it a big company?
It was a small. I was doing like stuff for MTV. So they had a show called Monster Mix.
Okay.
They have like a T.I. video and then mixed in with say like a Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, okay.
And then when the DJ would cut it up, it was my job to animate like Mary J. Blige dancing with T.I. I was motion graphics. Yeah. That was years ago. But
you've done a lot.
It's been interesting.
You've lived a life. I feel like you've lived a
I think you just kind of like pivot and then like. If I could just talk to people all day, that would be ideal for me. Like, I love what this is. Like,
when's your podcast?
Huh?
Podcast.
That's what this is.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like.
I mean, in sense
what can you do? Like, so yes, podcast, but I'm like, what?
Like, how could I monetize it in a way?
Are you? Are there ads?
I don't have ads. I don't honestly like.
So this is still a fun thing. I'm just like, how can it be the thing?
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like if I could just make my living off.
Because that's what I'm saying. I'm
like I found the art of like finding people and getting yeses from places where I was like, wow, they actually said yes.
So podcast, great, but like you've still got to support of other things.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so this is why I'm like, for example, my art I'm so grateful for because I'm like, it's not like I'm making my art for fun. I still have to go and work and stack shelves doing something. Right. I'm like, no, this is it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, how can this be it?
That's,
I don't know.
That's the $15 million question. But I mean, like, there was a time where prior to me doing all the tourism stuff, I was thinking like, how can I travel the country? And I was thinking, and then somehow I figured it out, and then boom, I was doing it for several years. Yeah. But then I just fell in love with this, and so I've been doing this thing called legacy calls, where like, it's say like you have a older parent, and you're like, I want to get their story, but I don't want to do it. Yeah. So like I'll sit down with people's parents and then give them the audio. And so it's like private. It's not even a podcast. It's like, so when, we're not immortal, but so if like if someone's parents passes away, they have this conversation where like I'm bugging out. I'm not just doing this like Larry King thing. Like I'm bugging out, making them laugh, asking them stories, like digging in deep, just having this really like, and then it's private. Like it's not meant for the public. It's just meant for other family members. So I've been.
Also, it's like, but you're also only one person. It's like the energy you bring in. It's like, when some people will do an interview, they'll ask the same 20 questions as you might ask, but they don't get the same responses.
Right.
Because it's that, and it's all about energy. So it's like in this business, it's like I think the small amounts of success I've had, I don't think it's got to do with skill. I don't think it's got to do with my art. I think it's about my attitude and energy. So. I have a feeling. And I think the success you've had, it's like, I don't think it's by accident.
You did that.
Because people are like, oh, I want to do what you're doing. Like, give me the formula. I'm like,
ain't no formula.
No, girl, it's not going to work for you.
It's not going to work.
And it's like, I've even learned, like, when you have kids, people are like, well, here's the book for kids. I'm like, put it away. Put it in the bin. Yeah. Because you don't know what kid you're going to get.
And that's the thing. I spent the last 48 hours just like reading and studying everything you did. Yeah. But then I don't have any notes here. Yeah. I just internalized it, and I was like, whatever's gonna come up is gonna come up. Yeah. But at least I'm familiar with it, and then you can elaborate on it, and we could talk about it. But I don't need to be like.
Well, you're very good at what you do, because sometimes I've sat in interviews. I'm like, Elsa, this was extraordinary. Like, that they don't even know what I do. Like, so it'll just be vague questions like, what, how?
Yeah, don't freestyle.
So they're just like, how do you build your craft?
No.
And it's like, okay.
Right.
Do you want me to give you the long story? Yeah. Or like the bullshit I've had to go through to get here?
Let me just give you the PDF and then you can just transcribe it.
Yeah.
No, back to what you were saying about vibe and personality.
Yeah.
Again, I was watching a TED Talk you did, and the
God.
very first line you said, he was like, "Who's this bitch dressed in white?" And I was like, rewind. I was like, "Did she say bitch?" And again, like I was like, "Did she say bitch?"
Well,
She said bitch.
I've always felt very uncomfortable when I like listen to people or watch people when they take themselves too seriously or they don't swear. I'm like, no, that's not right.
I love the curse.
Because when everyone curses, and I'm like, if you're withholding that, that means you're thinking like you're. I don't know. I'm like, it just comes out.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm like never thinking about.
But
my
I feel like
answers,
there's a freedom. There's a freedom to just be able to say, like, my family is strange. Like, I was just talking about my mom.
How many kids?
It's me and my 2 younger sisters.
Okay.
So, like, I'm the oldest.
There's 3, okay.
There's 3, yeah.
Yeah.
As you say, how many? I'm like, so I'm doing the math. Carry the 2.
Carry the 2, drop the 1.
Yeah.
4. No,
so my
wait,
mom,
3.
she was like, you can say whatever you want.
Single mom?
Yeah, well, my pops is still around, and we're still. My pops is a whole other. They have a whole. I don't know, but
it's a whole podcast.
It's a whole podcast. Yeah, and so, but my mom, as long as you don't, you can say any curse you want.
Yeah.
She just don't like to hear the word GD, which is goddamn. Other than that, she just does not like that one.
Okay.
But you can be like, what the fuck? Even when I was a kid.
But is she religious? Are you like?
She is, but
So
it's a faith of some sort.
Okay.
But other than that, I was able to say and whatever I want. And my mom's
fascinating.
She's not like a like we talking about the club.
Yeah. Okay.
For example, this Sunday, my mom came over and we were like drinking sangria.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know what? There's this club thing that's happening on Sunday. I think it'd be cool if we went. And I was like,
okay,
let's go. That's the exception. Like, Mom, you want to go to the club? You want to listen to house music?
And you went to the club.
That's coming up. We're gonna go to the club. I've gone to the club with my mother several times. Like when I was single,
cute.
We went to some old school club. Everybody got on silk suits and derby hats. And she's like, "What you think of that woman over there?" I'm like, "Mom, she's like 60. Like, what I'm gonna do with that lady?"
But is she going to a young person's club?
No, she likes, you know, Frankie, Beverly, and Maze.
So like old school,
yeah, nice. You know, or house music.
Yes.
Like she's,
nice.
I think
And
she's gonna be like 68 this year. Yeah, she's not
cute. No, I love that.
Like sometimes I'll call, I'll be like, "Where you at?" She's like, "Oh, I'm in Harlem." I'm like, "Why are you in Harlem?" And she lives in Queens. She's like, "This is where the party's at." But she's not like loose with it.
Yeah,
she just likes to be out
she's
and about.
got her friends.
But
She knows what she,
But they're of her age, so they'll be like 60s. Like, it's a game night, and I'm like, all right,
God,
just be
that's
safe.
so cute.
You know, that kind of thing.
That is so cute.
So, you know, I grew up that kind of way, and
yeah.
as I get older, I'm like, so that's where I get this creative shit from, because you're bugged out.
Yeah, she's doing stuff.
Yeah, she's always,
great.
but she's hilarious.
Yeah.
So
and
it's
are
like,
your sisters like you?
No.
Sorry, they might not be like you, but do they have a little spark?
My younger sister.
Sparkly? Are they sparkly?
Yeah, they're both like, when they get into a space, like my younger sister Delilah.
Yeah.
It may take her like 10 or 20 minutes to open up because she comes in with the poker stone face. But truly, she's just like a goofball. And she's funny. But she has to get to know you. My mom's is like that too. And my younger sister Stephanie, she's kind of, we have that in common.
But
she's
there's
the
a sparkle in everyone.
Yeah. And she went.
Do you know, I really think you do get that from your mum, because I feel like everyone gets that from their mother.
Yeah.
So it's like you get the thing, like you're sparkly or you're not. And I'm like, my mum's very sparkly, very strict, but very sparkly. My sister and I are both sparkly in our own way. We're very different people, but there's a sparkle. You know what I mean?
And your father?
No, he's probably sparkly in his own way, but I think there's that thing, that personality when you come into a room. It's like what your mum was like. I don't know.
I think I get my hustle from my pops.
Yeah, okay.
He was always hustling.
I think my dad was a hustler too. Yeah. Very serious, like hustler, but like my mum's just sparkly. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that, like, as you get older, you begin to realize, like, it took a village.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all your kids, are they like, you think they're going to be creative, or they're going to serious, or they're just still in that kid phase?
They're still in they're not in the slug phase anymore, but they're still young, like 2 and 1. But they're definitely energetic. They are sparkly, I'm sure. I just don't know what I've got yet. Like in terms of what they're going to do. Doesn't matter. They'll do something. Everyone's going to have a job. So I'm like, you're going to have to be paying your bills somehow. It doesn't matter what that looks like. But
so are your kids going to have that experience where they're like, have to hustle?
100%.
Well, like I created this, This is mommy's.
Yeah.
You're gonna have. You can help me, but this isn't yours. Like, you gotta earn it, or is it like you're gonna spoil them, or how's that?
No, not at all. So this business lives and dies with me. It's my name on the door. So it's like, I would hate this for them. What if they're not intense? Or what if they don't like the hustle like this? You can still hustle in a different way. I don't know yet, but I don't think you can spoil them with love and attention. But I think everyone's going to have to pay their own bills somehow.
They're their own personalities.
100%.
Yeah.
Ellis is more, Kenny's, I don't know. We don't know what we got yet. We'll figure it out.
One question that came to me, is this something that you're like, I'm never going to draw that? Like, or you tried to draw it and you was like, this is not a good feeling?
No, it all comes down to the photograph. So it's like, I only draw from photographs that I take. So I'm like, I could make anything look cool, or not cool, I could make anything have it with a bit of personality. But yeah, I won't start drawing it if the photograph doesn't look right. Because I'll spend ages, and I'm not a very good photographer, are you kidding? I just like bought a camera and I'm like hoping for the best, like clicking, hoping. But yeah, I don't draw it if it doesn't look good as a photo. So it's all creative when I'm like working with the object and I take a photo. The drawing stuff's not creative, that's just mechanical draftsmanship. So it's like all creative for that 2% of the time.
Right.
And then once the photo's edited, boom, that's easy. Yeah.
So like,
that's the easy part.
You say like, what's this, Geiger? You see how, Geiger, he created,
I just don't know many artists or people or things.
He's
my own.
He's the artist from back in the days that helped create Alien, the movie Alien.
Okay.
With that.
Yeah, I know the movie Alien.
If you look up, like, I think it's Giger.
Yeah.
His work is so dark. Like, it comes from his mind. It's all drawings and paintings or what have you. But I think a lot of it came from his dreams.
Yeah, right.
But when I look at it, I'm like, man, this stuff is scary.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna suss it out.
Yeah, I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But it's just where people pull from.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. My aesthetic's clean and very stylized, and all my work's kind of stylized. Like, it's not kind of that dreamlike kind of scariness. I think I would need to photograph that. And at the end of the day, remember, I'm not a great photographer.
Right.
So I'm like, my drawings are only as good as my photographs.
Okay, that makes
so
sense.
it's like.
But what got you to Plaid?
The Plaid. Okay, so I'm not a great painter. I don't know how to paint, but I love drawing paint because I think it's a really fun mindfuck. Yeah, just like, I've never drawn 2D before. I generally draw a 3D object.
Yep.
So this is very 2D, but it's fucked up because if this is on the wall, you're like, oh, cool paint. And it's like, no, that's a drawing. Yeah, so like, I'll show you some of them I've just done.
Are these lenticular?
Yeah, these are lenticulars. But like, these are the drawings, which I love. No, so this is the paint, right? Can I move this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can clip it to you. Let me see.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Chuck it in a pocket.
There you go.
Stunning. There's the drawing, and then, like, this one still needs a little bit of work, but it's like...
So this is the drawing?
This is the drawing.
And that's the painting?
Correct. So it's like, but if these are on the wall, if you didn't know I was telling you this, you'd be like, oh, okay, cool paints on the wall. Like, this is really basic. But it's like, it's being able to do that really fun mind fuck of like.
It is a mind fuck because I can't tell which one is which.
Tell, yeah.
If you was to play a joke on me and be like, so this one's the drawing and this one's the painting, I'd have to believe you.
That's what's really fun. When the exhibitions come, I'd say 50% of people come and they just want to walk through the exhibition and they don't really know what's going on. And they'd walk through being like, oh, like, cool painting,
Right.
Whereas then the people who do know what's going on are like, whoa, this is amazing. So this is how they start. It's like really simple in its essence. And then I build it up and then the layers come and it looks more like paint at the end of it.
So is that an attribute to like how much time you put into it? Like some people can go, I think I'm going to step at the 4-hour mark, and some people are like...
No, it's not about time. It's just done when it's done.
Okay.
But I like this because it's like, paint is so, it's not as intense. Like if you're just doing, like these took me 30 seconds to make. But there's something very intentional about drawing. It's like more intimate and it just takes a long, I don't know.
But to be able to make the illusion of the green over the brown, was that something that is a technique that you had to learn in the sense of
but that's the easy thing. So it's like drawing just happens.
Gotcha.
And it's not. It's not
There's no
even-
technique. Yes.
There's no technique. I could just do it. People are like, but how did you make another thing 3D? And it's like, what? Like, how did you make it look like it has paint on it? I'm like, because the photograph. I'm just copying the photo.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's just I just do what the image says to do.
So when you took the Nike mag and dipped it in the black, was that like more about challenging? Like, okay, I could draw this shoe out right, but to do the black, that would present more of a challenge? Or is this like, it ain't no challenge, I just got it?
No, I think it's a little bit of like showmanship and also technical. So it's like, if I didn't dip the shoe in paint, people wouldn't have lost their minds.
Right.
You know, and also...
It's almost like you're teasing them, like,
yeah, and
why
just
did she
fucking
do
with it,
that?
and they're like, that's really mean. And it's like, I just needed to get the image to be able to do the drawing. And I think you can really tell if something's too photoshopped because it's too neat and too clean. I really like physically having the object, like say I'm destroying a Chanel bag or a Birkin, or whatever it might be, something of a high value. I can't just Photoshop paint onto the thing. I've got to
actually
do it because it's like the image is more realistic and it pops more. So yeah, I don't know. I like to do things more realistically. So like anything I use, that's probably what makes the drawings good. I'm not a great photographer. I don't know how to edit that well.
Right.
So I kind of like shoot, and as it is, that's going to be the drawing.
Some of that stuff is hard to shoot, like all that, like you did like these chrome situations with the trophy room.
But that's what's great. So that's actually, I had a photographer help me with that. But shit, if I was photographing that, the drawings would look super different.
Yeah,
you know? So,
that is.
Yeah, that was back in the day when I used to have help to photograph, and then it just got really frustrating, always having to call on someone to come and help. I was like, I just want to be able to do it myself. Yeah, I was too dependent on someone else, and like had to come in for a day and shoot everything. I was like, I just want to shoot when I want to shoot. I just want to.
When it strikes you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, sometimes I've got other things on in the day. I can't just schedule a whole day to shoot stuff. So when it's been good to
have that to just do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you develop it to what you need. Some people say, do you know Photoshop? I'm like, I know it enough to do what I need to do.
Totally.
Because you can do anything in Photoshop, but like specifically, like I can do specific things. But outside of that,
the same with me. I know how to bend lines. I'm mainly bending lines on Photoshop and just in color. That's it. You know. Yeah.
And I feel like it's so huge that that's the best way to approach it. You know, sometimes people ask me like, oh, like how do I look at art? I'm like, I could walk through a whole art show and I'm only gonna gravitate to the shit that moves me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, if it doesn't move me, I'm just gonna walk by it and that's okay.
But so I find now what I struggle, do you go to many art fairs?
I do.
You go to art fairs, okay. What I struggle with art fairs is no context, and that's what I struggle with. People are like, are you going to Art Basel Miami? I'm like, why would I go? What am I going to do? No. So I'm like, I love context. So that's why I enjoyed building these exhibitions, because it gives context, right? So if I was to put my art in say I'm working with Gagosian and just have it in their booth for art, like, people just walk past and be like, cool.
But I mean, these days,
like,
you could really build out whatever you want.
You can, but also during art fairs,
but then it's also restrictive.
Restrictive, but you're also competing against a lot of eyeballs, and I don't know. You can't fully go to town on an idea.
There was
I don't know.
I went one year. It was maybe a few years ago. There was toilet paper.
Yeah.
You want your toilet paper? It's called Toilet Paper Magazine.
Love.
And they create the most strangest shit, and it's so creative. I love it.
Yeah.
And their books are expensive.
Yeah, right.
But I own one, and I was like, I did a gig once, and I was like, I earned this since I bought one. But anyways, I went and they had this big immersive experience where they had spaghetti all over the place. It was, but like it was in the corner. So it's like they'll give you a plot of land essentially, and you can just do whatever it is you want to do.
I get it.
You can create the context, but like you said,
it's true.
You're competing with thousands of eyeballs.
So yes, you can still do creative things, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking if there was just a thing hanging on a wall, because that's generally what art is. People still see art as like a painting on the wall, a drawing on the wall. And I'm like, art, it's so much more than that. I've come to learn over my years. But it's like, generally that's what people expect from art. And it's like, there's no context. So that's why I love building out these big exhibitions. Epilogue, God, you name it.
Monologue, monochrome.
All these different exhibitions. It's like, even with Plaid coming up, it's like, there's more context to the idea. It's like, I could just easily hang things on a wall and be like, come look at my drawings. People are like, good skill, bro.
Yeah.
And then like, that's not exciting me because skill doesn't impress me. I don't see art as skill. When I first started, I think art was all skill-based. I was like, ooh, what's this conceptual shit? That's not art.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I make art because it's skill-based. And now I'm like...
You loosen up.
Yeah, there's so much more to it. And that's why I love... I like building things. It's just more concept. Concept is everything.
But that's the whole. I
Yeah.
thought. I don't. One question I do have is like, how much time do I have? I don't want to eat up all your time.
Doesn't
You know,
matter.
like,
Whenever it's done, it's done. It's all
Okay.
good. Yeah.
one of the things I liked about Epilogue was like things were falling from the ceiling.
Yeah.
That recycled paper.
Yeah.
It was like 1,000 kilos or something like
A
that.
lot. Yeah.
It was a lot.
A lot.
But the thing that I found so funny was
Yeah.
like you had, not funny, but it was, to me, it made me laugh. The choir was singing SWV Rain on
Yeah.
Me. And I was like, of all the songs.
Yeah.
And you have this beautiful experience, but
Yeah.
they're singing their hearts out.
I know.
And it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
But like that song is so R&B.
Yeah.
And they're singing it like so gospel-y.
But like, so
Yeah.
I said, like, Elsa, when we were looking for like a choir to sing, like, there was like,
They were excellent.
yeah, they were great. Like, there
Yeah.
were like, generally speaking, like white men who were like in their like bow ties, who was, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I would have had, if I even knew the guy, I'd have Kanye in the fucking church,
Right.
just singing.
Yeah.
That would be my goddamn dream. But like,
Yeah.
that a little bit difficult to make that happen. So I'm like,
Right.
someone with some people with a bit of soul and energy, and I think we just found them on YouTube, and I'm like, that's them. Let's go.
And they
Let's
were
see.
they're
based in London.
Okay.
And I'm like, those are them, let's go. Whereas some other people, it was just a bit more formal. I just like the way
I
they
like
just
the
sung
contrast
together.
of
Yeah,
it, where
was
it just
nice.
felt like, because in that environment, to have that soul, because it was just very,
It
from
was,
what I,
do you know what? If you had been there, it was extraordinary. That exhibition was extraordinary. That church was unusable for like 50 years.
Wow.
We renovated that church for the exhibition. Like, that's how much I'm like, it needs to be that space. Like, we spent over COVID maybe like a year and a half, almost 2 years renovating it so to be usable. Now there's so many people using the church for shit.
so
like,
are you still in
fashion-
collaboration with the church?
no,
or is
we
it-
just renovated it.
But
we
who
don't
owns
own
the
it.
church?
The Church of England. We tried to buy it, not for sale. I don't think we could have afforded it, but we tried.
Right.
And they were like, it's not for sale. I'm like, well, I need this space. How can we make it usable? And they're like, the ceilings need to be renovated. It's going to fall. And I'm like, done. Let's
Really?
renovate it. Yeah. For
But
just,
so how long do you have it for? As long as you want it, or until like,
we only needed the exhibition. We only needed the church for 10 days.
but is it still going on right now?
No, the exhibition's done.
But they're still utilizing the space.
Correct, which is great. It's
Okay.
like, it's a good thing to give back. So it's like
Yeah.
art that lives on. No, it's not my art in there, but like someone sent me something, this stunning clothing brand, you know, like Vogue was covering it. They're like, Cj, is this your church? I'm like, dude, it's not my church, but they're using the church.
Yes,
It's
yes.
great. And also, I'm not religious. I'm as atheist as they come. Like,
Okay.
I'm sure I believe in some type, I think I believe in energy.
Yeah.
You know, like I believe in like I shouldn't use the word. I just like being a good cunt. You know what I
A
mean?
good cunt? Yeah, you can use the word. Say whatever the hell you want.
In Australia, we use that word
Yeah.
in an endearing way. I know,
Yeah.
like, Americans are probably like, but in Australia, you just be a good cunt.
Yeah.
And put out good energy and shit will happen. Or it won't, you know?
Yeah. I
But yeah,
think that's true. I mean,
yeah.
with that trip I took, I had a relationship with this guy for like 20 years. He's
Yeah.
like one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm going to your country. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'll connect you. But if I was...
Love that.
That's the reason why I got the inside
Yes,
scoop, because
that's nice.
we just been naturally cool all this
Yeah,
time. And
you
he
would have
was
stayed in
like,
hotels and done normal stuff. If,
Yeah. I stayed in a hotel.
Sorry, I mean, you would have just gone to, like, the TripAdvisor restaurant. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean.
So I mean, like, at one point he was like, "We're gonna eat dinner with my parents." I was like, "Word!" And so we went
Love
to like his
that.
neighborhood, and then we got empanadas off the street from
stunning.
there. Like, this
The
is what
best.
we go to eat. And I was like,
Ugh.
"This is why I'm here."
Yes.
You know,
yes.
it's good to eat whatever.
Yeah,
and
but
we
where
went to
does-
like fancy restaurants.
Yeah.
But to be that empanada.
That makes the trip.
Yes,
Yeah,
or that
yeah,
chicharron
yeah,
with
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
Colombian rum,
Yes.
and that shit was just
Yeah,
banging.
yeah,
you know,
stunning.
so like that relationship, I felt like people talk about. Like, I just try to be a good person in
Yeah,
general.
great.
And then it just comes around, and it may be like, oh, I almost got hit by that car, but I didn't. You know, I just feel like, that'll work. I'll take it, you know.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, but art's just a vehicle. Like, yeah, back to the thing. It's like the art's the easy stuff. Everything else is difficult. It's like everyone can make stuff. Everyone's making their own thing, their own bits of art, or being creative. Or
Yeah.
you're making a like everyone's doing their thing creatively. The people who are creative, but it's all the others. The other shit's hard. It is hard, and I don't know how to explain that. It's super hard.
I also find that, like, especially just getting Well, I don't know.
Eyeballs is difficult. Yeah.
That part, yeah.
Yeah. But also everyone's got Instagram and social, so it's like, how do you do it in an elegant way where you're not trying to gain and like hack the Instagram system and do 10 uploads a day? I'm like, I can't keep up with that. No, that's not for me.
And it's constantly changing.
Oh, exactly. So I'm like, I'm just going to do what I do and put up when I do it and do what feels right and comfortable. And no, I don't have a huge social media. There's artists with much bigger and way more eyeballs. I'm like, that's good for them. This is where I'm at. This is what I can manage.
And so are you still fully independent? There's no gallery or nothing like that?
Yeah, no gallery.
Are they like pitching to you like, hey, because sometimes like, say in the music industry, like you can do really well, then the record labels are like, hey, we can do this and do that, that kind of thing. Does that ever happen to you with galleries?
There are galleries we chat to and we just keep chatting, but I think the only direction for me are the big boys. If I even go there, you know what I mean? But it's fine.
It's not a goal. You're still going.
It's not a goal, but I have a feeling it's going to happen just because it's like natural progression and it'd be fucking hilarious.
Right.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I just see it as like a fun thing to do. Maybe that's not the right attitude, but like, they're probably like, it's not fun at this level. I'm like, it should be.
It should be.
You know?
Yeah, but it definitely.
I don't know.
From the artists that I know, they're like, the gallery, it's a whole, it's like, now you have a manager and they have like, you got to do this thing. They're like in your ear and they made. Sometimes I hear great things about galleries, and then I hear some pretty hard, some kind of horror stories. It just depends.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
That's why I think like at the highest level of galleries, I have a feeling there's more give and take. I don't know, but it's not necessary. But I think it'd be fun.
There was as we were talking. Wait, let me show you this thing on Notion.
Do you need charge? You're on 20%. Let's go.
I wanted to ask you about the Planzilla thing. Are you still?
What's that?
You mentioned being a Planzilla. It was a very long time ago in your TED Talk where you were like, I planned out everything and I was a Planzilla.
Yeah.
And so like.
No, I gave that up long ago. It's like you can plan to a certain extent. Like we'll plan in the studio like exhibitions that happen. But for example, there's a full crew up in the space that we're doing the exhibition. There's 10 people there building the playground, but they sent us this playground with no instructions. What? It's like, or like a little manual with like 3 pages, and it's like, no. Like this is a really big, expensive playground. Like what? So we didn't know that would happen. So now we've got to figure out like, okay, how do we?
Without the instructions, they didn't even send you any instructions?
So I think we're going to have to fly the engineer over to help us build it. You know what I mean? It's
and these are the things
like
that you never know is going to come up.
You never know. So it's like we know that the exhibition's happening on these dates at this time. Great. But we didn't know that would happen. You know, like...
So hook or crook, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's happening. We're doing it.
With or without this playground?
No, we're going to need the playground.
Okay.
So we need the playground. But it's like, it's those things that like you don't... So put it this way. Here's us and here's a playground on this date. Right. These things have to happen, but we don't know how it's going to get built either this way or that way. Like there's a million different paths for us to get there, but we know the playground's going to get built somewhere or another. And if it's not built, we'll get a fucking another one and get it delivered in 2 days. Do you know what I mean? We'll get one from Amazon and get it.
Okay, you know, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Right, okay.
But yeah, so that's all we know is like shit's going to happen. It's like people plan to have children. It's like generally like it might take years for them to get whatever. But you get a kid in your house some way or another. Right. Via like just having it naturally, adopting,
there's options.
Fostering. But you get a kid in your house if that's what you want. So it's like, we need the playground.
We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
And so, has there been a release date for the doc?
Oh, end of this year. I'm not sure. We're not producing it.
Okay.
We've got nothing to do with the documentary. We were the subjects of the documentary, but we've got nothing to do with, I think they're trying to sell it to Netflix or Amazon. So it's like, there's a whole, like they're doing the festival
It's a feature.
circuit. It's a full thing.
There's
been a lot of money put into it. So, but we've had nothing to do with that. So they are more experts on like, okay, well, we're using this team to sell it and we're going on this circuit and we're doing
but are you like
and all these
do you see cuts of it where you're
We
like,
saw the whole documentary literally like a couple of weeks ago.
oh,
It's
and you were
awesome.
happy with it?
It's great.
There
They
wasn't
did a
a
great
part
job.
where you was like, hey, what about
No, I think
okay,
it's a
good.
little bit. They wanted to bring it down by a little bit, like make it a little bit shorter. I think it was an hour 45. I think the ideal is an hour 30. I'm like,
Okay.
cool. So, but we know nothing about the system, but it was entertaining. It was good.
Was it kind of like surreal to see yourself in that light where you're just like, damn, this is what I didn't even, because I mean, it's a huge project, this copyright infringement.
Yeah. No, not really. I don't know. I didn't. It just wasn't a big deal.
Okay.
Oh, it should be. But to be honest, we did it. We filmed it over, was it 2 years ago? Maybe a year and a half ago.
It was like
that was so long ago.
Mexico City,
Yeah.
Chicago, and New York.
That was from Copyright Infringement 4.0, which was almost 2 years ago. It's like, I'm like, we've
And
done
now you're
so
done.
much. We've lived a whole life in 2 years. So I'm like,
Right.
oh, that thing happened. That was so long ago. That's why I'm like, fucking release it quicker. But once again, I've got nothing to do with it.
So now that it's a wrap
Yeah,
on copyright
yeah.
infringement, 5.0
It was
was
done.
the final.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like we need to do something naughty and something copyright infringement-y.
Yeah.
Or do we just do like a Kardashians and pop out on Hulu? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Just like show up like a Beyonce,
like a new,
like just
a new
drop.
one, and just like, hey, no, I don't know. I think it's something.
Because I'm sure you miss like that engagement with your audience in a way it's so intense. Like it was such
is.
and then it's gone after,
know.
you know.
I'll think of something else. I think I was getting kind of tired of the whole concept. Like it's fun,
Yeah.
but you kind of get done.
Kinda
You know, and
beat a
if
dead
I'm
horse.
not feeling it, I'm like, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So I'll think of something else. But I also think it's got to come intuitively. Like if this year I don't think of it, fine, it'll come. Something.
You know, and just that whole notion of like, I was talking to another artist friend of mine where we were talking about that notion of like, if man made a thing,
Yeah.
there's that copyright infringement.
Yeah.
And if the creator created it, the guy, whatever you want to call it. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you could draw as many landscapes and trees as you see fit. But like, if this subject of this picture, and it's crazy, even though you drew it all by hand, it's still like, wait a minute, it's too
know.
close to the original,
I know.
you know.
Copyright infringement is a funny thing, but like I love skirting around the outsides and being a little bit naughty. I think my whole personality is a little bit naughty.
I can see that.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit
Are
defiant.
you like a prankster? Your husband's like,
no.
don't jump out on me like that.
No, I just like don't. I've always thought rules don't apply to me. I'm like, oh, rules are really cute for everyone else,
Right.
but I'm just like.
Has it ever got you in trouble where you're like...
Not really. Like
Okay.
never fully in trouble. Like there's things like even in university, I was like, I was just always a little bit naughty. Never to the point of killing someone or like going to jail. Yeah,
Right.
you know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
like, but I'm always just like.
I've been a
why
bit of a
do-
prankster.
Why do people take things so seriously? Why is there so much red tape for stuff? I'm like, it's like airport security lines. I'm like,
Yes.
why don't let's just.
You know I didn't do nothing. You know
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
just
have
like,
anything.
let's just jump in this line because it's shorter. I'm like, I'm just
Yeah.
not going here. Like, you know what I mean? Little things like that. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
going. That one's too out.
That was
You
the
know what I
most
mean? Like-
intense part. Even on the trip that I took to Colombia, I was like, I'd have a certain kind of paperwork,
Yeah.
and I couldn't even check in until the paperwork was approved.
Yes.
And I'm looking at my girl like, we're in Newark, like, yo,
We're here. We're ready to.
if this doesn't work
So
out,
did
I'm
you
gonna
have
look
to
a
do
schmuck.
full-on like paperwork just to get in?
Yeah.
Why?
And they have to improve it. So
Why?
like,
Just to go on a holiday?
yes, to that country. So they needed like your passport, this is that. They had their own
Wow.
janky little app that you had to use, and sometimes
It's always the jankiest
it was-
apps. I'm
bruh.
like, why? Why are we still in the 80s? Why?
Yes.
It's like a website from like www.
That's what it was. It was like a GeoCities kind of like.
I get it's so complicated, and there's always like someone with a big smile being like,
Yeah,
"Welcome."
yeah.
And,
And,
you're like,
when I got there, it was all good, but just that
Yeah.
one part, I was like looking like, if
Why?
we don't make it, if we don't get this paperwork in, this trip is a wrap. It's gonna be a real awkward ride back to Brooklyn.
do you know what? I feel like the art world is still a little janky.
Oh yeah.
A little janky. I'm
In
like,
what
why?
way though?
I feel like the gatekeepers. I'm like, why? Why are you still here?
Right.
Like, go away. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, nowadays it's all about just like you're direct to consumer. Like you can talk to your customers and people can tell you if they like your art.
Do people try to gatekeep you? Like, are you still having to battle that, or?
No, I think at the beginning, when
Okay.
I first started 10 years ago, people's nose were a bit put out of joint. They're like, no gallery, social media. And I'm like, yeah, cool, bro, this is all I got. So I just
Yeah.
want to make it work.
Yeah.
And now it's like not even a conversation. Like if you're an artist and you don't have Instagram, it's like, what?
Right.
Do you not, like anyone? doing anything creative visually if you don't have socials. Like
It's all about analytics for people. They're like, well, I don't know how good you are if you only got 10 followers, and you could do something extraordinary. And that's kind of, I think that's...
Do you know what's fucked? I've got, like, very fortunate to be in this position. I thank my lucky stars every day. But I've got exceptionally talented artists who are part of my studio, and they help me make my work, who are 100 times more talented than I am.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding? Absolutely. No social, they just, it's that whole other side to it, which is really, really difficult, which they're like, no, I'd rather just help you make your work. I'm like, all right, like 10 times more talented than me. And I'm like, they're just like, no, I'm good. But it's a whole different thing. It's like making the work and then getting it out is the other thing, you know? That's why it is really important to have galleries. It is, it's really important.
Because they're the ones that have all the, I saw that, I listened, there was a part where you were working with Cool Hunter, Bill.
Oh, yeah, good one.
And then when you separate it, the databases, the names,
everything.
He's like, that didn't transfer over.
No.
So you had to start all over from the beginning, like get your own contacts and get your own.
I was lucky in that I had a social media. So I always had that, but I never knew anything about the back end. I used to just make the drawings.
Yep.
What a time.
Yeah.
It was just like, wake up, draw. I didn't have to think of it, just draw, post a photo here and there. That's it. It's, you know.
But now the business aspect.
Yeah. It's so much more back end that I don't show on socials. People don't want to see that. That's boring.
But I'm saying it's been a school into itself.
Hasn't it? Got my business degree 10 times over from Harvard. 100%. It's things that you can't explain. Okay, here's one. You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh. So I released these sculptures, these I don't think I've got any here to show you. Flower sculptures for Epilogue. This was last year. Stunning. They were white, resin, beautiful, orchid, beautiful. We sold 100 of them, price point kind of high. And I'd never really done sculptures before. We usually do frame pieces, and we've kind of perfected that in terms of shipping, no issues. But we did these sculptures, we released them. Do you know what the breakage rate was when they got delivered? We sold them, which was great. 100% breakage rate.
What does that even mean?
Every single sculpture we shipped out.
It broke?
Broke.
That's
what I mean. Like, that's not something you learn. Or
you had to replace it?
Replace it, but then I had to, I don't have to. I called everyone, and I'm like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. But I also had to make it
100%?
I had to also make it seem like they were the only people with the broken sculpture. Because
Right.
I didn't want everyone to be like, look, this happened to everyone, sorry. I'm like, they're like, who else did this happen to? I'm like, just you. This hardly ever happens. Truly never has shit gone wrong to that capacity. But like, if everyone was to just be like, you know what, I don't want it.
And especially in this world where like everybody has a voice, where they could be like, CJ sent me this broken up shit, and then you get like a whole wave of everybody. So you circumvented that by calling people up.
I called people and I was like, I'm so sorry, this is fucked up, this is not right, because it isn't right. And I'm like, I wouldn't want this. They've spent a lot of money, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. You can either get a refund, whatever you want to do, or we'll remake it, but you're going to have to wait another 6 months.
So how many people was like, I'll wait?
So of the 100, 98 people said, no worries, we'll wait. 2% wanted a refund. But you run the risk, if 100 people get a refund, you just lose $500,000 like that, boom, gone. So I'm like, I don't want that to happen. Number one, selfishly, I don't want that to happen. Also, number two, if people have spent all this money, I want them to have a great experience.
Right.
It's all about experience for me. Like, people have given you money, and I'm like, make it fucking good. Even if you've only sold something for $100, make the best experience for that person, you know?
When you're creating these experiences, like these immersive experiences, so like with the Raw Shack where we're jumping around and the bouncy house, and even with the paper coming from the ceiling in Epilogue, and even with Tony's and all these magnificent things, like how are you sourcing, like how the hell do you source a jumpy house, a white one at that?
No, but everything's custom.
Right,
Every
that's what
single,
I mean.
how? We just find people. There's people out there in all parts of America and different parts of the world, it doesn't just need to be America, who specialize in their thing. Like there are people in LA, I think the company's called Magic Jump. They just make bouncy houses.
So you just did a search and was like, you're the folks, this is what we need?
There's people all over, and I'm like, we needed it in a hurry, because I was like, I only just came up with the idea. I'm like, 2 months, we've got an exhibition. I'm like, fuck. We could have got it overseas and got it cheaper. But I'm like, fuck, you guys, you can do it. Can you do it? They're like, oh, we're gonna need the design tomorrow. We got to start.
And then they like charge you for that expedited fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's like,
Was it the same thing with like that silver Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, you can find people everywhere, all around the world, who specialize in their craft.
Okay.
You just got to find it. That's the great thing about the internet. We live in a beautiful time. You can just like do some Googles, call someone. Someone's like, oh, I know someone else. We live in an amazing
But now you
time.
have a database of vendors that can execute your ideas.
Yeah, but
you never
specific
return back
things,
to them.
Not necessarily.
Okay,
So I'm
gotcha.
like, we used the bouncing castle people, and they were great. I don't think I'm going to do a bouncing castle
Ever
again. So I'm
again.
like,
Yeah.
but if someone asks, like, where did you get your bouncing castle made? I'm like, oh, these guys. But like, yeah, we don't often go back to, like, we now know the Plaidground people. I don't think we're going to do a Playground again. So it's like,
right.
It's I never do the same idea. I wish I was that artist who just did the same. Like, say I did Plaids for the rest of my life. Like, we might do a Playground, or we might take the
No,
Playground.
your work seems to evolve.
It keeps evolving.
Not
So
even
it's-
seems, it does. Like
It
I
does,
went all the
yeah.
way to your first Instagram post
Yeah.
where you're like drawing.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of like did a speed
Yeah,
scroll
yeah.
up to the top, and I was like, oh shit. You
Yeah,
know,
there's
like
shit's happening.
there
Yeah,
was
so-
the first time I saw color, it was like you did this folded up T-shirt that was the shape of a gun.
Yes,
And then you put some red
a little
into
bit of
it.
red, a little bit of blood.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
it kept going to black and white, and then eventually you got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
color.
yeah.
So it was like
Yeah.
that introduction.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, it just, I wish we used the same vendors.
Right.
It'd make her job a lot easier. And it'd make the stress way less. But then it's the same thing.
Right. And that's not what this is about, as from what I can tell.
Yeah. That's not exciting to me. But we
then-
use the same people who supply us paper. Like, that's a consistent part of the business. But
Okay.
like, nothing
And
else is.
pencils and that kind
Pencils,
of thing.
the
Certain-
simple, yeah, that's
yeah.
easy. But then building the exhibitions, no two are the same. So it's like we're constantly trying to find the new.
But that
I know.
experiential experience.
Yeah. But that's what makes it, I think,
Do those
interesting.
ideas come when you're creating? So like when you're drawing Plaid, you're
Do you know-
thinking like, oh, I need to get a playground. Is it just
Yes.
coming to you as you're drawing?
Kind of. I'm like, it always starts with the drawings, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is very two-dimensional. How do I create the concept around that? Weirdly, all my ideas come from just like things I've seen and accumulated,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much visually online. So like, very rarely am I like, oh, I went to this thing and saw it. I'm like,
Gotcha.
You can't see enough of the amazing things that happen.
So you're creating this mood board in your head.
Correct.
Okay.
Mainly on Pinterest. Like,
Got you. I love
Pinterest is it.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll see things, and then it's just an easy way to collate things. But yeah, pretty much my whole business is built on Pinterest.
And
Like
then,
riffing on shit. Yeah, go.
Like you say, you listen to mad audiobooks. Like, so what's up with the audiobooks?
No, but
What do you
it's
listen to?
I mainly listen to podcasts.
And podcasts?
And mainly podcasts, because audiobooks, like you'll buy an audiobook like for something like $20,
Yeah.
sometimes more. It's gone in a day.
Right.
Like, it's getting expensive. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, podcasts I can just
You don't
churn
do Libby?
hours. Who?
You do Libby?
What's that?
You get a library card, like just a New York
Oh.
library card, and then you can just get audiobooks for
I'm
free.
learning a lot from you. Done.
Yeah. Yeah, I show you the app. Like
Done.
this one I'm listening to right now.
Oh no, girl. You
So
need
this
to
is
be
Libby,
charging. Come on.
Libby, and I don't, there's no commercial or nothing, but it's so. And I got a little charger in my bag, but this you just literally give them your library card, and then you just check out like this book.
But hang on.
You loan
Can
it.
other people be listening to it? Do you have to wait for it to be loaned back?
It just depends
Or
on
can
how popular the book is.
So I'm like, can 100 people be renting the same book?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
So there's a lot, but sometimes there's a waiting list. So if it's like a newer book
Yeah,
or what
yeah,
have you,
okay.
but like a lot of times I'll listen
pretty
like something
good.
obscure.
Yeah.
Not
you
even
can go-
obscure. I've listened to a lot of free
Yeah,
books.
yeah.
Because sometimes I got an Audible account and I
Yes.
love Audible, but I'm
That's
like, I'm not
expensive.
wasting the credit on that.
I
And
know,
so I go to Libby.
I know. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
So yeah.
Okay, I'll use that. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate that.
And then the very last question is something I ask all my guests,
Yeah.
and it's out of all this whole experience from the Olympic trials to today, like, and it can be one of many, but what has been the most important lesson you've learned so far, just in this currently in this experience as you move forward?
That's such a big question.
It is.
What's yours?
Just be nice.
Yeah.
For me, it's just
Be a
be
good
kind.
cunt.
Like it literally, you be a good cunt. I get to say cunt on my own show. Yay! No, just be cool because like a lot
Yeah.
of times, and I've learned to just let go.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's things that I can't control. Like sometimes, like I had a cousin. He was like, "Cuz, how do you remain so chill?" I'm like, I just don't pay attention to shit I can't control.
Yeah, okay.
I said, "What do you do?" He's like, "I watch the news in the morning. I watch the news in the afternoon." I said, "There's your problem right there."
Yeah.
Like if someone's house is burning down in whatever borough, are you gonna like go to the house and say, "I'm sorry this happened to you"?
Yeah.
Are you gonna give money? Are you gonna do anything other than pay attention? He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm not. All I'm doing is," I said, "That has nothing to do with you."
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. Of course it matters, but like you're giving energy to shit that you can't even do anything about. So it's the same thing with people, family, cousins. Not that I'm living this apathetic life where I'm like, I don't give a fuck. But at the same time, it's like if it doesn't serve me, if I'm not even going to give it energy, then what the hell? So I just learned to just let go and be cool.
No, yes, I agree. I think my thing is like, shit's hard. Life is like, everyone's life is hard. Everyone's got hard things in their life. It's like, find something, or do a thing. It doesn't need to be work, just something in your life that there needs to be some type of enjoyment. Because otherwise you're just going to live a shitty, hard life.
There you go.
Oh, it's fucked. That's not right. So it's like, do something that a little bit of joy. I've learned that, especially having kids. There's a lot. Business, kids, art,
So what, like, aside from all of this, gives you joy? I'll tell you mine. Tetris.
Go.
I'm done.
Stop it.
I love Tetris.
Do you know what gives me joy?
What is that?
Kids' playgrounds.
Okay.
I fucking not joking. I love it.
You go to like different kids' playgrounds around the city?
We spend so much time at children's playgrounds. That's the age our kids are at. I cannot explain the unhinged joy and happy and screaming and excitement that comes from kids' playgrounds.
Yeah.
I would have walked, before kids, I would have walked past playgrounds being like, shut the fuck up, too much noise,
So
boring.
can you give me one that's like dope as hell? Like I think there's one by the
McLauric
Met.
Park.
McLauric?
No, but we're in Greenpoint in Brooklyn.
Okay.
McLauric Park, it's locals only pretty much, but it's the most stunning trees up kilometers high. Just, it's
Okay.
like a fairyland. It's
I
stunning.
have 3 nieces.
Oh.
So I think
How old? Younger?
Like 1, 2, and 3,
Okay,
or 4,
bullshit age
6,
as well,
or 7.
okay.
As an uncle, I should know this. No, I just know that I love them.
They're young.
Yeah, they're not at the point where they don't think their uncle is cool.
Okay,
They'll
you'll
call me
get
and be
there.
like, "Uncle, I love you," and then they hang up the phone, and I'm just like on a R train crying, like, "What the fuck? Why would you do that to me?" Yeah, so they're at that age.
Kids'
Yeah.
playgrounds are the happiest place I find. Kids just run around, smile on their face, playing in dirt. It's the small things.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Those are the things I remember as a kid.
Yes.
Like I grew up in the hood, but I had an excellent childhood. You know,
Yes.
2-hand touch, Skelly,
And
CeeLo.
those are your parents. They did that for you, yeah.
Yeah, my mom was
Yeah.
because I was born in Berlin.
Yeah.
And so for like 2 years, she thought like it was okay for kids to just walk around freely because that's how it was in Berlin.
Yeah.
So when we got to the hood,
Oh, God.
she was just like, yeah, I'm like 4 or 5, like walking into parties in my building, and she's like, where's your son? And he's like, not that she wasn't
Yeah,
caring, but she just
yeah,
let
yeah.
me be free. And
okay.
I looking now as an adult,
Interesting.
it's just almost like therapy talking to you. Like
No, I love
now
it.
as an adult, I'm like, oh, that's why I'm always traveling wherever, because I'm just curious.
It's 'cause your mama.
Yeah, because of my mama.
Because she's a little bit sparkly.
Yeah,
God, I
yeah,
reckon if
yeah.
I met her, I'm like, I get it.
No, you
Yeah,
would.
yeah,
She'd be
yeah,
right
yeah.
here. And she'd be like, "Can I have a
Chatting.
tea?" Yeah, she did.
We're like, we
Yeah.
don't got sugar,
No,
sorry.
exactly. She would still be alright.
Wow.
So,
okay, that's
yeah.
nice. But yeah, that's what children's
Playgrounds.
playgrounds are very fascinating. It's simple.
Okay.
Simple joy. Yeah. Because life's fucking complex. People are complex. And then when you go to a playground, there's nothing but dirt and slides.
Yeah.
And they just have the best time. You're like, oh, wow.
Love it, and
Yeah.
it gives you a chance to just kind of like let go.
Yeah, when I'm with the kids, I don't work. I'm not at work. I try, like, I'm really not on my phone.
So you're not like, oh, I like the color of the slide. You're not. Okay, good.
No, I'm just like, it's
In it, present.
just there, just like, cool. It's nice. It's actually really nice. Yeah.
Well, CJ, this is it.
Thank you. Now the next thing
This
is like
is
how
it.
to get the pod to be the
That's it.
The
I'm glad you
thing.
brought that up. Like that's what I mean, even if
I
it takes
get it.
2
It's
years,
like it's your
like
passion. It's what you're really good at.
I
and
love
I can tell
it.
that.
Like
And it's
I choke up thinking about it. Where I'm like,
know.
the projects that like one time I had a gig because of the podcast.
Yeah.
I was sent to Louisiana, and
Yeah.
they were like, "We want you to talk to our culture." So like, talk
What
to
do you mean,
this.
like our culture?
Meaning like the
That's vague.
no, it was like opera singers
Okay,
and
okay.
artists
Oh.
and like what do you
Nice.
call that machine that you go like this?
An accordion.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
okay.
like I would go to their house
Yeah.
and I would like just sit there and talk to them, and they were like. At one point, I interviewed this guy playing. He must have been 90 years old. He was a legend in the world of accordion playing.
Yeah.
But he was like, "You want to join my band?" Because we were kicking it, and I was like, "I don't know how to." He's like, "I can teach you," and I'm like, "I don't know if I can."
If I've got enough time.
Yeah, exactly. And so he was like, "All right." So he's like, "I want to show you my pecan tree." I was like, "You have a pecan tree?" So he walks me around the house, and he shows me this big pecan tree. I said, "Wow, you make a lot of pecan pie with this pecan tree?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, if this was in New York," I said, "You know what kind of pie we would make?" He said, "What?" I said, "Pecan. We make some pecan pie."
Yes.
And he was like, he just started laughing. And then he just like came to the house. I mean, came to the car. We were just cool. But I got a chance to like interview him and talk to him about his family. And then like they spread it around and did whatever they did. But I just so enjoy kicking it with people.
But
you know,
that like, because you're so good at it, and this is clearly your calling.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you need to do other things to like you need to take away time from the thing you love to support.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
And like,
it's gonna happen.
of course it's gonna happen.
I like that we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sitting here in a place where I'm like, the thing I love, I get to do it. Like, I need to do nothing else to support. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so lucky. And I'm like,
and it's This is something about, somebody was asking you about this same thing. It was just like, just take action. And
it's
that whole
easier
time,
said than done. I know, but like,
But I mean, that's like from here, today, I have this conversation.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, I head to the Museum of the City of New York.
Yeah.
And they're having like this photography exhibition.
Yeah.
And so
Who are you interviewing for that?
I'm going to be honest with you. The exhibition has a lot of photographers.
Okay.
And so my friend Meryl, she's my friend now, but like I don't know what, but she's cool.
Anyway, fucking Meryl.
And
Meryl over there.
Yeah, so Meryl's like, hey, this exhibition is happening. She works PR over there. And I'm like, are there gonna be photographers there presently? And she's like, so my idea is like, put a mic on them, put a mic on me, and like, which one's your photo? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, nice.
And just do that maybe like 4 or 5 times or whoever's there.
Would you even just interview the people walking around, not even the artists? Sometimes that's the most fun. Do you know what? Fuck what I think. Because wouldn't it be better, this whole thing...
To like talk to like someone who's just there?
Imagine everyone walking around this exhibition. By the way, it'd be really nice for you to come. But imagine...
I'll be there.
Okay, fuck yeah. Imagine everyone walking around the exhibition. Who cares what I think? But if people are just like, actually, this is a piece of shit. I don't even know why I'm here.
Like, be honest.
No, like, this is shit. This is
be
weird.
honest.
But, you know, like, who cares? Like, everyone thinks their shit is awesome.
We try to see if we could pull it out of them. Because sometimes you have these, like, diehard fans, and they're like, oh, my God, this is amazing. And they pull them to the side, I'm like, for real. Is it really amazing? What's amazing about it?
It's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So, what if that's a way better conversation to get someone else in to be like, oh, God, she stinks, or like, way better thing.
But, I mean, would you want that surrounding, like, that orbiting in your space?
You know what? You can't control what you can't control. You just do your shit. And it's like, if that's what surrounds my space, whoops, I've done my job wrong. So it's like, I just do my shit, put it out in the world, and whoever comes.
Right.
You know? And if they don't like it, also, why would people not like it and waste their time?
Why would they go all the way in, wait in line?
Exactly,
I waited 4 hours to get in here, and I hate it.
Yeah, so I think you're going to get people who know what's going on or like it a little bit, but whatever, like, you just can't control that. You just do your thing and put it out in the world and hope for the best, you know?
And so, I mean, honestly, my show isn't just New York set, it's everybody.
Yes, but that's the beauty of like, everyone can listen.
Because I want, my sister does dialysis.
Yeah.
So I was like, Delilah, talk to me about dialysis.
Dialysis, like hospital?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
She works for Mount Sinai.
Wow.
And she does all this great stuff. She's just telling me all these stories. And I'm like, what do you drink? Whatever you drink, I'm going to drink. So we're drinking like Hennessy. And we're just getting twisted. But the episode is hilarious.
I bet.
Because it's my sister and we have a rapport.
I love that.
And my mom was like, you put that out? And then people, because it's bugged out. And so I have like notable New Yorkers, people like, oh, I know who that is. But then I have like this one person who may drive the bus. And I'm like, tell me what it's like to drive the bus. So it's not like
special.
But it's
well done.
Yeah,
well
thank
done,
you.
Sir.
So
that's nice. It's a privilege to be on your podcast.
No, it's an honor to sit here and kick it.
Nice.
You know, I really enjoyed
it. You came in with a big smile. I'm like, let's go.
And I came early.
Go.
Yeah, I was
nice.
I'm not gonna always. I feel like, what's the point of having this conversation if we're gonna not be prepared for it, and then halfway and come in with a bad attitude and all? It just doesn't help for anything.
It means a lot. So thank you.
Thank you.
It. Yeah.
So we out of here.
Yeah, well done. Thank
all
you,
right.
sir. Oh, you did a really good job.
Thank you.
Is it still recording?
Yeah.